Good afternoon, everyone. This week's webinar is on creating and using custom modules in the database. Our agenda for today is to do a quick overview of custom modules. When do you decide that you need to use a custom module? Then creating the custom module, giving it a name, and then adding your custom fields. Just like the other modules in ClaritySoft's database, the other modules, you can add custom fields, any type of custom field to a custom module. And what it allows you to do is track additional information that you might need to track and into the data fields that you want. And then I'll show you how to add data to your records, create your records for your different accounts that you've associated the module with. And then also, just like the other modules in ClaritySoft, we can do reports using the reports module. So we'll walk through the entire process. And in ClaritySoft, I've pre-filtered my list here of accounts where I've set it to my customers. So you don't have to do that. I just did it for ease of use. Deciding whether you need a custom module. If you are in a situation where you need to track multiple items for an account or a contact, an example would be you have a contact person, maybe you're an insurance type company and you sell policies. So your policies, you might sell car policies, home policies, life insurance to the same person, and you want to be able to track the type of policy, the date of the policy, the value of the policy, all that information. And if you find yourself going into the contact record and adding multiple fields for policy 1 and type 1 and date 1 and all of that, and then policy 2, then you need to have alarm bells going off in your head to say, I need a custom module. Same thing might be at the account level. If you sell large equipment or you sell copiers and you install copiers or other office machines at a customer site, and you want a way to track the model number, the serial number, the date it was installed, maybe the last date of service, where it's placed, that kind of information. And again, in the account record, you find yourself adding install 1 date, install 1, placement, whatever, and then install 2, again, that requires a custom module. And the reason is you have no idea how many office machines you're going to install at that customer site. If you put 3 sets of fields in, what happens when you install the 4th machine? So this is, you're continuing to add additional custom fields. The other problem with that method is that when you go to run reports, it does not work. So if you're in a situation like that, then you want to think about using a custom module. So in my situation here, what I'm going to use today, we are going to pretend that we sell large machines, and we want to track those machines that are installed at different customer sites. So the first thing I need to do is create the custom module. And when I create the custom module, it's going to show up over here in my navigation panel for me. So to create it, you go to settings. Now I also need to caution you that custom modules is an added feature. So when you go to settings, you may not see that feature. So if you don't see it as it is here, then you'd need to talk to your account rep. So I'm going to settings. I go to customization, where all the other modules are. And then here I see custom module. So when I click on this, I see all modules, and over here, I get to add. So I go to add my module. I'm going to call it equipment. You may name it anything that you like. You just don't want to make the name too long because it will widen the navigation panel on the left side of your screen. And then you come down here and your module can either be connected to contacts or accounts. I'm going to connect this one to the account because it's installed at the company site. And so this icon here you don't need, we don't use these, so you don't need to worry about it. So I'm creating a module called equipment and I'm associating it with the accounts. I click save. So now I have my custom module. Now notice if you do have the custom modules feature turned on, you're not limited to creating just one. You may create multiple custom modules in the database. So just be aware of that. All right, so now I have my module. Over here, I now can see custom fields. And when I click on that, underneath, I see the different custom modules that I have. So equipment is already here and selected. So I can come over here now and add my custom fields. So I am going to add machine type, and I'm going to make this a drop down, and I'm going to put my three machine types that I have. This checkbox here for reference field, what that means is in the module, as in the account module and the contact modules, up at the top you have that quick search box where you can type part of the account name. And in the contact module, you can type either the account name or the contact person's name. That's what this is referring to. So if I make machine type the reference field, then when I'm in the equipment module and I have a list of all the equipment, I can type, you know, big machine, bigger machine, or biggest machine up there, and it will filter for all of them. So you can make any of your custom fields a reference field. The account field will be a reference field because that's what it's associated with, and then whatever other custom field you decide should be the reference field in the list. It could be the serial number. You might want to be able to type in the serial number. So you decide. You can have one other reference field besides the account field. I'm going to make mine the machine type. You can always change it too. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to add. Now just to add a little variety here, what I decided to do, I'm going to make the model number a drop-down dependent field. And it's dependent upon the type of machine that I select. So I could say for each machine type, I have 2 or 3 models, and that's all I have. So I'm just doing this to show you some creative things that you can do. So with the big machine, I can have model A3456. Okay. And notice this doesn't, if I've set this as a reference field, it'll turn off the one for the machine type. You can only have one. So I click, oop, I didn't mean to click save. Hold on just a second. Jumped ahead of myself. I want to click on bigger machine. Maybe we only have 2 of those. And then the third one, created that. And let's say I would also like the condition of the machine. Perhaps we refurbish machines that come back in. So I'm going to create a drop down here of new and refurbished. And then I would like to be able to enter the serial number. And that will be just a text field. And then I would also like to know the date the machine was installed on site. So I'm going to make that a date time field. And I would also like to have the last service date. And again, you can add any fields that you want depending on what you're trying to track. So, You know, you should be thinking right now of what you would like to track and then all the different fields. So you can have as many custom fields as you need. Notice here that machine type has a line underneath it that indicates that it is the reference field. Okay, so I've added my fields, and just like with the other modules, when you add your fields, your next step is to create your user interface template and do your screen layout for your fields. So I'm going to come over here and click on UI templates. Now I have an equipment UI template for the custom field or custom module, and I click on that. And then I'm going to choose base template as my profile because this is my master template. And if any of you are from, you know, a little ways back, this is a new feature in the last 6 months of being able to do this way. So I'm going to bring over, actually I'm going to move this stuff over here. So you can see the account field is here because this custom module is associated with the account, and this is colored blue, so you may not drag it out of the way. It doesn't like that if you try to save it. So I'm going to bring over my machine type and my model number, my serial number, and then maybe over here in the middle, I'll put the condition, the date installed, and the last service date. So I've created all of that. And then just as a kind of review in your user interface templates, the field configurations tab lets you say which fields are visible or not. Also dragging them to the left makes them not visible. So here I want them all visible. You can make fields read only if you were importing data that you didn't want people to touch. And then you can make a field required, like you might want to make, you know, the machine type and model number required fields. And then if somebody's creating the record, they must at least add those 2 pieces of information to the record. And then report permission tells you that the users can view any reports you create their own, edit reports, and delete reports. So you can set your permissions here. So once you've done all of that, you click Save. And OK. And then, because this is the master, I am going to copy this set, the way the setup is here to, I'm just going to copy it to all my other access profiles, unless I want one to be different. So the easy way is just click this, click the X, click Save, and your field layout that you did in your base template is copied to all the other access profiles. So that's really a nice feature to have. Again, after you've done all this, you must log out and log back in. You should have your custom module over here, but notice it's not in the list. So don't panic. What you do is you come over here to Settings, and you go under My Settings navigation menu. And this, because this My Settings is an individual thing, each user may have to do this in order to see the module. So you click on navigation menu, and you come down here and you click Reset. And there's my equipment module now, okay? So when I click Apply to save that, and if I wanted to move this because it's down at the bottom, I might want to move it up. You can put it in any position and then click Apply to save it. And then when I go back, I need to log out again. Oh, no, I don't. There it is. I forgot I moved it. Looking at the bottom. So there it is. So I now have my equipment module added here, and I could then begin to add records. Now I can add records in here, just like you do in any of the other modules, or I can add records going to the account record and adding them there. Now here's another thing that you will have to do. If I open an account record, and I want to use this company down here. Notice that equipment is not one of the tabs. So how do I add a new record in here? Well, go back out to your list view, come over here to the vertical ellipsis button and choose tab settings. Then you can see here's my equipment tab. So I can drag it over here, drop it in the position where I want it, and then click apply. Now, when I open the record, there it is. So, things to remember. When you add the custom module and the custom fields, first of all, do your user interface template just like you normally do with your field layout. Log out, log back in. If you do not see your new module down at the bottom here, go to Settings, go to Navigation menu, and click the Reset button to see it, and then you should be good to go. And then if you don't see the tabs, which you won't, then you go in your list view to the vertical ellipsis button and choose Tab Settings. Now, both of those are individual, so each user will have to do this, okay? It is not a global setting because each user can control what tabs he or she wants to see in an account record, all right? Now, we are ready to add some data. So I'm going to do the first one from the accounts. So I want to add something to Greystone Industries here. So I can open the record, go to Equipment tab, click the plus sign, just like I do for all the other tabs, and I have my fields. Because I started at the account name is already here. So all I have to do is pick the type of machine. The model numbers that I set in that drop-down dependent field are here. So I can choose that. The serial number, type something in. The condition, it's new. The install date, now you might, this is going to show up with the current date, and maybe this machine was installed 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So you don't necessarily want to scroll back on the calendar. So I can start typing, if I type 10-25-2016, notice the calendar jumps with me. So don't scroll backwards, type it in, and then you'll have it. And then your last service date, maybe that was fairly recent. So maybe you did the last service date in September of this year. Okay, so you have this information, and then if I just click Save, you'll see now I have the creation date of today and the last edit date of today. You also have a description box up here if there's any special description or notes about the machine that you would like to add. So I've added that. I now have, under the Equipment tab, this machine. All right. Now I also can add it a second way. Let's say for Greystone, if I don't want to open the record, I can use this expand button to see my tabs, click on the Equipment tab and click the plus sign, and then add it. Now, notice what it's doing here. It's pulling up the original one I just entered. This is being fixed, okay? So this should not happen. It should only have Greystone here. So I'm going to say they also bought a biggest machine. Here are the model numbers for that. And maybe this one, they bought a refurbished machine, and they bought it, let's see. Okay, And then maybe this was serviced back in June of this year. Okay, so then I can do a save and close. So you can do it from within the record, you know, open the record, click on the tab, add it, or you can use the expand button to see the tabs and then click on the tab and click the plus sign. So that's one way to do it. The other way is to go to the module itself and add a new record here. Now, perhaps before I add a new record here, I would like to set up my columns so I can see all my data. And just like the other modules, you go to your vertical ellipsis button, column settings, and you bring over your fields. So, let's see, date installed, last service date. Where's the machine type? Mm-hmm. Serial number. Oh, there's machine type up there. I'm going to put account first, then machine type, model number. The reason it was at the top is that these two are the reference fields. So I've got the machine type, the model number, maybe the serial number up here. And those are the columns the way I want them. I could set this to view 100 at a time and apply. So I now have all my information. So at a glance, I can see the information. Now, if I want to add something new, I can click here. Because I'm starting in the equipment module, it does not know what account I want. So then I have to start typing it in. So as soon as I start typing it, it will pull it up. And then again, it's repeating the data from before. So you have to take this out, but that, like I said, that's in the process of being fixed. And this is a new machine. And we'll leave the dates the same just to save time. So I can do a save and close. And now I have 3 there. And let me add some more just to get a few more in here. Okay, so everybody should be getting the idea of how this works. So the nice thing now is I can have as many machines per company as I need. I don't have to worry that I only have 3 sets of fields to track these and oh my gosh, what do I do with number 4? I could have 10 machines at one company, 2 at another, 5 at another, whatever, because what we've created is another one-to-many relationship. Just like with accounts, you can have as many contacts as you need. This is the same thing. I can have as many machines as I need attached to the account. So that makes it really, really nice to be able to track. And if I wanted to come here, I could type in Gray for Greystone and search and find all the machines that are installed at Greystone here in the equipment module if I wanted to. Or I could type, where did my mouse go? I could type to find all the big machines that are installed because that's my other reference field that I can search on there. So it makes it really easy to do. You can also, you have a filter here, so you could search on other things. You could search for all the new machines that you have installed. So you could go to condition and say it is new. And then you could find all your new machines. You could search on the installation dates using the filter to say it's between this and this, you know, or it's after this. So all of these become searchable so that you can pull up the lists that you need. So it's really nice. And again, if you sit down and think through all the custom fields that you need and want, it really helps track the information. Now, another thing I want you to notice here, I set up all these columns here in the custom module. If I go back to accounts and I go to Greystone and click the expand button and then go to the equipment tab, notice that the columns that I have set up in the module itself display here. So this makes it really quick and easy to see all the information that you might need to see for that company at that location. So this is here. And again, you can add new equipment to any account. You look up the account, you add it either at the account record or in the equipment module. So reports. You can go to reports. First of all, it doesn't automatically add a folder for equipment down in here. So if you want to have a folder for your equipment reports, then you can come over here and add a new folder. And then you can call it and save it. So I now will have a folder at the bottom of the list. And then I can create a new report. Whenever you create a new report, you associate it with a module. Here is my equipment module. Click Save to make the connection. And then I can choose my report. So if I wanted to do, let's do a summary report. And let's say I want to group the report by the types of machines that are at different locations. So I'm going to go to columns and I want to pull the account over. I want to pull the machine type and the model number. Maybe I want the serial number. Oh, what the heck, we'll just pull all this over. I could select more than one at a time and kick them all over at once. And because I'm going to sort or group by machine type, I'm going to move this one to the top of the list. And maybe put the model number up here. Perhaps we move the account down here a little further. I might move it already here. And so I'm going to have the machine, the model number, the serial number, condition, date installed, so on and so forth. Then I go to group columns and I can say, well, I want to group this by the machine type. And I want to get a count of the number of records per group. Summary here we don't need because we don't have any numeric fields, but if in your custom module you add fields that contain numbers and you would want to get a total of those numbers, then you will see those fields listed here. And you could get a sum and an average, so on and so forth. And then the filter criteria, you can set a time-based filter, like maybe you want to see all of the pieces of equipment that had a service date of the last 6 months. Okay, I'm not going to do it right now. We'll run the report without that, but you could do that, or installed in the last 6 months. So we could do that. And then you could set a standard filter where you might want to pull out only the bigger machines or the biggest machines, whatever you want. Again, we don't have so many records, so we're not going to worry about that. So then I'm going to come down here and click Save. And I'm just going to call it equipment list by machine type. And then I'll come down here and select my folder that I created and save the report. And then I come down here and run my report. So there's my preview. I will download it into Excel. So there it is. So it has equipment list by machine type, the title. I have 2 big machines. I have 1 bigger machine and 1 biggest machine. It shows me the model number, and it shows me all the information that I pulled in and the account where it is installed. And I have a total number of records of 4. So again, creating the module is relatively easy, and putting the data in. Now, some caveats with this right now. Currently, we do not have a way to import data into the custom module. However, if you get your list together, we will or can have our development team do the import for you. So if you have a lot of records that need to go in, then we can do that for you until the importer has the capability to work with custom modules. Also, the Excel reports currently do not connect to custom modules. But other than that, I mean, this really makes a huge difference. And it's important to the structure of your database because it just makes it better for searching for things, tracking things. And this is a nice, neat way to see things. You're able to search it, you're able to report on it, and you can see it at the account level with your accounts, and it does not matter how many records you add per company at each level. As I say every week, if you need help with anything, then please feel free to contact our support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. And then if you have any ideas for future webinars, please email us at info@claritysoft.com.